कांबळे सर द्या
Yes.
परिचय करा.
Yes.
ओके.
Dear friends and participants, at the very outset, I am very much thankful to Shivaji University, exclusively my Department of Economics. Today we have assembled here for the PhD online open defense Viva of my candidate, Deepak Chavan. Talking about Deepak Chavan, from the very beginning, he is very much meritorious throughout his career from graduation to post-graduation. And one peculiarity of Deepak is that he has been studied very important courses like econometrics, mathematical economics, and computer applications. From the very beginning, he is sincere, honest, rigorous so far as carrying out research is concerned. And as he was having interest in agriculture in general and environmental economics particular, the topic which was assigned to Deepak was sustainable agriculture development in India. Today we have Professor Mahadev Deshmukh as a chairman for today's Viva. And one of the excellent referees for today's Viva is our very meritorious alumni, Dr. Anil Chaugule from Sydenham Government College, Mumbai. On behalf of the university, on behalf of the economics department, I extend a very warm welcome to all of you. And as chairman for today's Viva is Professor Mahadev Deshmukh, I am handing over charge of Viva over to Professor Mahadev Deshmukh. Over to you, Mahadev.
Thank you very much, Professor P.S. Kamble sir. At the outset, let me once again welcome and to our external referee, Anil Chaugule, who belongs to the Sydenham College, Mumbai. And today we have the Deepak Chavan, whose open defense Viva is to be conducted. And particularly the topic is sustainable agriculture development in India, under the rigorous supervision of Sir P.S. Kamble sir. He has completed his own thesis and submitted to Shivaji University. University has submitted its report to the different experts. One of the experts today is with us to conduct the open defense Viva. So I request Deepak Chavan to be in brief related to the title of the thesis. You can cover up or give more flash on research gap, your objectives, your hypothesis, database, what we have analyzed, and then you can go to the conclusion finding. Go to Deepak Chavan.
Yes, thank you. I'm clearly audible, sir?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes. Thank you. First of all, I heartily welcome the chairman of our today's online Viva, Professor Dr. M.S. Deshmukh, sir, Professor Shivaji University, Kolhapur. I also welcome external referee Dr. Anil Chaugule from Sydenham College. And again, I welcome my guide, Professor Dr. P.S. Kamble from Shivaji University, along with all the research scholar, professor, and teachers from the various branches. I welcome all of you, and with the permission of the chairman, I am going to start my presentation.
Go ahead, continue, Deepak.
Yes, sharing. Okay, sir. Is it visible?
Yeah, it is visible.
Thank you, sir. Thank you again. So let me start with this is a presentation, content of presentation, and hold the presentation as going in this way. I'm starting with the introduction as per and as the suggestion as given by the chairman. The highlighting point have been discussed thoroughly. So these are the content have been covered in this presentation. Let's we start the introduction of the subject have been selected for this PhD research work. So agriculture, we know that the agriculture is a commonly discussed and thoroughly discussed part from last few years, many years. So the topic has selected for this research work is sustainable agriculture development. So we know that the agriculture is a primary sector in our economy, but nowadays we are not looking only this is a primary sector, but the agriculture sector has become playing a very crucial role in all the aspect. With the given, just a second. Is it not movable? Is it? Okay.
Yes, it is changing. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes. Okay, sir. So now in the context of agriculture and growth of population, industrial growth, and many sector has tremendously growing nowadays. The agriculture is the dominant sector, and we already seen in Corona pandemic period, it is one of the best sector who have been participate or contributed in all aspect. So the global picture of the agriculture sector has, as compared to the service and industry, has falling down, and many issues have been created with the unemployment, poverty, hunger, malnutrition, and numbers of things. So they are directly or indirectly connected with the agriculture sector, and the agriculture is the backbone of our economy. More than 50% population has directly or indirectly engaged with the agriculture sector. So in this regard, the subject have been selected for the research work is a sustainable agriculture development, present as well as future aspect of this sustainability will be more influenceable in our economy. So these are the significance of the study. In the beginning, the current research study has helpful to understand the concept of sustainable agriculture development. Then study help know that the sustainable agriculture development in India. Then study enable us to identify the challenges in realizing sustainable agriculture development, along with the provide the input for the policymakers, and this is a unique contribution in the research as environment and resource economics area. Then the concept of sustainable agriculture. So it is a very common sustainable development. The concept come from the Brundtland Commission 1978. After that, the United Nations Congress addressing actually the sustainable agriculture development in their bill, which is come into exist in 1990. So which is connected with the term sustainable agriculture means an integrated system of planet and animal production process practices having a site-specific application will over the long time satisfy the human food and fiber needs. The, another reference of the United States National. Just a second, sir. This, okay. Okay. So another reference, which is United Nations National Agriculture Research Extension and Technology Policy Act, which was amended in 2002, who has defined the sustainable agriculture as an integrated system of plant animal production practice having a site-specific application. So all these things have included in the amendment and law. I'm not going in the detail. Statement of research problem. So in the presently agriculture is not the primary sector. Is it primary sector, but it is a primary sector which provides the raw material and basic amenity. It is a core part of living sustainable life to the all living thing. So the global food system, we already seen the provided a safe and nutrition food to the growing population. And if you're looking forward to 2050, the size of population has increased in tremendous way. So how we can satisfy the food and fiber need along with the present global hunger index shows that India's rank, which is an agrarian country. So in this context, the subject has have been chosen for the research work. These are the core questions have been covered through this research work. The present agriculture development is sustainable at economic, social, and environmental perspective. The role of government and other stakeholders who belong to the agriculture sector to make the agriculture viable and sustainable. Then what are the implications? Just a second. What are the implications of rapid economic development on agriculture sustainability? Then how the agrarian economy like India can cover all the challenges of food security in the context of climate change and growing population? And what will be the efficient strategy to achieve and maintaining sustainable agriculture development in present and for future? And these are the objective under the light of this objective study as going on to understand the concept of sustainable agriculture development in theoretical perspective, then sustainable agriculture development in India from socio-economic and environmental perspective, then assess the effort taken by the government to realizing sustainable agriculture in India, then empirical analysis based on the primary data and the challenges and remedies These are the hypotheses have been framed for this research work. I will detail discuss in hypothesis testing to preserve our time. Research methodology. So this research is present research consider the primary as well as secondary data. The primary data collected from the questionnaire interview, and the secondary data have been collected from the various secondary sources. The sample collection from for the primary data is three districts selected from western Maharashtra purposively because the agricultural development has reached at the peak level in that and as per the limitation of the time and economy. So three district has selected out of this 5% Tehsil selected, then out of the total villages 3% villages selected from this Tehsil, and 5% the landholders have been selected for the research work. Then these are the out of this total sample size 1047 is a respondent were selected from the total sample size. MNF formula is used to verify the adequacy of sample size. So 400 is adequacy sample size, and the respondent which were selected for the research work is more than the adequacy. Then data analysis technique has used for the analysis for the secondary data, the mean ratio analysis, compound growth rates, simple growth rate, standard deviation coefficient, and the primary data t-test, chi-square test, which is required as per the data, and the graphical presentation, pie chart, bar chart, and line graph is taken. Then the study period and limitations. So study secondary data is collected from 2000 to 2020-21, and the primary data is collected on the year 2020. Along with the research through the present work is all the inclusive. It has been some limitations on my research. So the present research study is limited to the agriculture sector, and other sector have not been taken to consideration. Then studies stick up with the specific period 2000 to 2020-21. Then selected indicators were considered for the study purpose. So all these hands were not covered in the research work. Primary data were collected for individual household only, and the remaining institution and other household other landholders have not taken to consideration in this research work. These are the chapter scheme of my research work: introduction, review of research studies, sustainable agriculture, theoretical perspective, result and discussion with the secondary data, then empirical analysis based on the primary data, then challenges realizing before the sustainable agriculture development, and major conclusion and important suggestions. So these are the 7 chapters included in my research thesis. Specifically, the research gap is a very important part of research, and with the review of research when it has taken to consideration. So research gap is a problem that had not been taken to address it. So my whole research have been categorized or classified as a literature gap, where I have to consider the socio-economic and environmental conditions simultaneously. So this is a new idea been discussed in this research. Then conceptual gap, time period gap, many research are short period or many research are old. Then population gap, methodological gap, analysis gap, implication gap, and prospective gap have been identified in a research when the research review has been taken to consideration. Then these are the variable which are not the concern of this variable, particularly in case of secondary data, the economic, social, and environmental variable, which is not in a particular references, but I have to take this variable from the various government data, government surveys, then socio-economic survey, then agriculture census. So where the government have been used this indicator as a showing the performance of the economy. So on that basis, this is a concern of economic, social, and environmental variable have been selected. So these are the variable. We will discuss this variable in next slide. So these are the 3 variables: socio-economic and environmental variable are taken into consideration. The secondary data, the 5 important most important variable have been discussed here in the economic indicators. First is the gross value added by the agriculture and allied sector. So gross value is total output minus consumption of the output, which minus from the total output. So gross value we can see from the study period on the base price as well as current price is negative. So along with the performance of service sector and industry, the agriculture contribution has fallen, but this fallen in the proportion where the more than 50% population has depend for their livelihood. So this is unsustainable point of view, or this is unsustainability indicator have been showing. Then next one is a production of food grain, area of food grain, and yield. So per hectare yielding or capacity of land productivity is 1.94% over a period of time. So which is very stagnant, or the area under the food grain has increased only the 0.12% as a proportionate of our population, our export, and many things has taken into account. This growth is very limited. Then the public sector outlay on agriculture and allied sector. So these are showing the plan outlay and actual expenditure has made on the agriculture. So there is a gap between plan expenditure and agriculture. Actual expenditure has take place. So compound growth rate is a different in that way. Then next one is a land use pattern for agriculture and cropping intensity in India. So all the variables showing the compound growth rate of agricultural land is minus 0.06%, whereas net snow area is minus 0.10%, and cropping intensity is 0.55%, which is quite low as compared to the other nations. Then on the percentage of employment generation from the agriculture, industry, and service sector. So here the comparison show that the downward trend of agriculture sector over a study period, which is showing that the employment generation opportunity is a very less, or the value is a minus 1.86% in the study period. So in economic point of view, we can say that the agriculture of India, or agriculture sector of India, is not economically viable. Then the environmental indicators for the sustainable agriculture, which also take into consideration where the chemical fertilizers and pesticides has used in the agriculture. So obviously the positive trend have been shown over a study period of time. So this chemical fertilizer and pesticides has adversely impact on the uh, agriculture as well as human health. So in both way it is unsustainable. Then growth, just a second. Growth of organic farming in India. So this is a very good option to moving from traditional traditional. Yes, yes, sir.
I
Hello.
Continue, Deepak. Go ahead.
Okay, okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Organic farming is a way where the Indian government has looking towards, which is moving towards the organic farming. And Sikkim is one of the state in our India who having complete organic farming, but the rest of the state has not reaching at that level. Area under the organic farming has increased positively, but it is scattered, or which is concentrated with the particular state. So this trend has belonged to the particular state, and the Sikkim is the state who has completely organized, declared by the government. Then greenhouse gas emission. So the volume of greenhouse gas emission is 567.15 metric ton from the agriculture and livestock. So livestock contribute more than agriculture in emission of greenhouse gases. But this trend, if you're looking in the study period, is a positive contributor, and this is a not good sign for the sustainable agriculture in environmental perspectives. Then these are the monocropping in agriculture. So these data have been showing in decadal data, and which is showing that the from after the green revolution, the concentration of the rice, wheat, and selected miltons, selected food grains has produced rapidly, but the rest of the important miltons has not produced as much as, or as proportion of the rice and wheat. So all the food grains is required for the human health, and in this regard we are seeing the concentration of the particular wheat and rice is showing more portion in total food grain production. Then this is agriculture growth enabling index of India, and as compared to the other nation. So this enabling index of agriculture, assembling the existing indicator and indices for the measuring the determinants of agricultural growth and competitiveness. So India performs relatively well on governing and marketing, but below the average in capital formation and agriculture sustainability. So this agriculture sustainability parameter is showing the less performance in these indicators. So for the agriculture sustainability, India's scores particularly low in various subcomponents like employment generation, capital stock, and land market right and access. Then five social indicators also take into account, because without social development we cannot. Yes, sir.
You can mention what are the social indicators and what is the outcome of that social indicators instead of reading everything.
Yes, sir. Sir, social indicator, which are the social aspect of the farmers and agriculture, where the people are participating in agriculture. So there are they living in the community. So social indicator relating to their availability of food, food grain, then electricity consumption, then social acceptance, then extension services, which are describe the social indicator in this research, sir. Can I?
Fine. Go to the next.
Okay.
You can tell us about your primary data work.
Yes, sir. I'm going on the primary data. So this is a area of my primary data. This is collected from the three district western Maharashtra. These are the overall land holding in the three district. So 0.88 hectare is the average land holding in three districts, so which is quite low. This is the distribution of marginal, small, semi-medium, medium, and large farmers. These are the distribution. Then with the primary data, I collect again the information, economic, social, and environmental. So the 10 question, the question asked to the respondent on this economic, social, and environmental perspective. So these are the outcomes which I received from this questionnaire. So 90% respondent, their main occupation is agriculture. They are using semi-modern technology. See, separation of this technology for the in the question paper I have to mention. The technology is the main component which uplift the agriculture production along with the minimize the cost of production. So 80% farmers are in the second category. Then a small size of land holding 46%. Then annual financial planning has not undertaken by the farmers. Irregularities 50% respondent. In this way, the economic variables have been tracing with the primary data with the respondent. Economic factors are playing a very vital role in their decision making, and maximum farmers have not calculated or using the cost benefit before the cultivation. Then these are the social factor where the social status of the farmer, food grain availability, impact of social status, then agriculture employment from agriculture, then agriculture community participation rate, then knowledge source is you get knowledge from the agriculture, and then agriculture and career options for the youth. So in this regard, we are saying many farmers has give the response in that way. The social sustainability at the primary level has also not been attaining. Then these are the environmental factor where I asked them, is there any kind of relation between the environment and agriculture? So they know yes, but soil testing, soil conservation, and use of non-renewable resources, chemical fertilizers, and agriculture management. So on this ground, they are very moderate or back in the form. So that is why the environmental aspect also not been identified in the with the primary data. Then the knowledge level of the farmers with the practicing of sustainable agriculture. So this is also one of the analysis has taken into account, and these are the result where I ask 10 questions to the farmers about their agriculture practices, which I am formulating on basis of my result, and the material is available. And the result is that the medium knowledge category where the farmers are showing the 47.87% farmers out of the total respondent has located in the medium knowledge category. Means there is a scope to improve the sustainable agriculture practices in the study area, along with 22.98% farmers, which are quite low in the sustainable agriculture practices. So this knowledge categories depend upon the 10 question has asked to the respondent. Then hypothesis, 5 hypotheses have been formulated on the study. So first hypothesis is belong to the sustainable agriculture development. And there is no significant difference in the sustainable agriculture development in economic, social, and environmental perspective, and there are alternative hypotheses. So prove this hypothesis. I want to formulate 3 different hypotheses. Here, this hypothesis has test out whether there is no significant improvement in agriculture practices for the attaining sustainable agriculture development in economic perspective, and their alternative hypothesis. So t-test has used because the income variable have used for testing the hypothesis, and the table value estimated is 19.0.6, which is greater than the estimated the estimated value is greater than table value, and that is why the significance level probability value is less than the significant 0.5%. So the null hypothesis is rejected and alternative hypothesis accepted, which is there are significantly improved the present agriculture practices for the attaining sustainable agriculture development in economic perspective. But in a second hypothesis here, there are no significantly improving the present agriculture practices attaining sustainable agriculture development in social perspective. So in social perspective, the size of land holding and social development are 2 variables taken into account to take the cross tabulation, and the social development. Yes, sir.
Hypothesis testing is the technical part. You can only tell us either you have accepted hypothesis or
Yes,
rejected
sir.
hypothesis.
Thank you, sir. This hypothesis, in this hypothesis, the chi-square table value is greater than the estimated value is greater than table value. So that is why alternative hypothesis is accepted. In the next hypothesis, also the estimated value is greater than table value. So alternative hypothesis accepted, which is there is a significant association between the use of chemical fertilizer pesticides in agriculture output, but the chemical fertilizer has used for the agriculture output is a proportionate relation that have adversely impact on environment. So here I show that the more fertilizer will be more fertilizer utilized for the more output, but this is environmentally adversely impact on the agriculture. Then this is a second hypothesis of the research work, which is the government of India is not sincere and rigorous in realizing sustainable agriculture. So here I take into variable is taken into account is the public expenditure on agriculture and allied activity. T-test has used where the calculated value is greater than table value, and that is why the alternative hypothesis is accepted, means government is sincere and rigorous in realizing sustainable development in India. Then third one is to economic factor has not made any significant and immediate effect on the agriculture decision, that social and environmental factors. So the estimated value chi-square is less than table value. So here the null hypothesis is accepted and alternative is rejected. Then fourth hypothesis is there is no significant difference in adopting advanced technology in agriculture among the different landholders. So estimated value is greater than table value. So alternative hypothesis is accepted, means the significant difference in adopting advanced technology in agriculture among the different sites, different landholders. Then last hypothesis, there is no association between the education level of farmers and sustainable agriculture practices, and the chi-square test has used where the estimated value is less than table value. There is a null hypothesis is accepted, means there is a no association between the education level and farmers and sustainable agriculture practices, because the education level is not means that the education for the particular point of view will be influence on the agriculture productivity. Then these are the major challenges have been traced in the chapter numbers 6, the economic challenges, social challenges, and the environmental challenges. So can I go to detail in the points? Hello,
Findings and conclusion. Touch to the findings and
yes,
conclusion.
sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. So the research finding. So basically, the finding has classified into the based on the secondary data and the primary data. In the secondary data finding based on the economic, social, and environmental variable. First finding, There is
स्वतः
a
गरजेचं आहे त्याच्यामध्ये.
4,000 मिळते म्हणतो तो. 8,000 मिळते.
hello sir.
जास्तीत जास्त.
Yes.
Okay, sir. Sir, finding based on the secondary and primary data. In the secondary, the finding is based upon economic, social, and environmental variable. So, 5 important findings related to economic variable, where the gross value of agriculture, gross value added by the agriculture sector has continuously fall down, and this is a very impactable factor because along with the non-agriculture sector growth, the pressure on the agriculture and their attached the community is high. Then second is the area under food grain has gradually increased or stagnant in the study period. Third, the observation that the Indian agriculture sector labor intensive and massive capital formation is not taken into account because as compared to the industry and service, capital formation in agriculture is the most required part for the basic and infrastructure facility. Then the fifth is employment generation from the agriculture is showing the minus 1.86%. Then finding based on the environmental variable, where the consumption of fertilizer has excessively used in agriculture, and that is adversely impact on their productivity as well as human health, income, and all the variables. Then livestock also contribute in food and food supply and society for the society. So growth of livestock is positive, but 6.94%, which is quite low as compared to the our population and size of agriculture. Then
Deepak, you can conclude now.
Yes,
We'll have
sir.
a discussion. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So all these findings or many things will be come under the conclusion. So at, my conclusion is that the present agriculture development is not sustainable in economic, social, and environmental perspective. Main impact that the economic variable is most influenceable in agriculture decision making, and social and economic aspect are not taken into consideration. So it is need to look forward for the sustainable agriculture. We having a lot of scope for the development of agriculture, but that should be sustainable at point of view. These are the scope for further research. So can I explain, or we will move to the discussion?
I think Deepak Chavan has presented his entire work title as Sustainable Agriculture Development in India by considering secondary data as well as the primary data. The primary data he has covered from 3 different districts. That's the Kolhapur, Satara, and I think probably Sangli. These were the 3 districts he has covered. And a lot of variables he has also covered by considering environmental, social aspect into consideration. Now, this particular forum is, or this particular board is open for the question answer. If those participants who have joined this particular Viva boards, I request the participant to pose certain questions if you have in the mind. Yes, anybody would like to ask any question to Deepak?
Deepak, stop sharing.
Yes, sir. Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you.
बरं, काही कुणाला प्रश्न नसेल तर प्रश्न आहे कुणाला विचारायचं? हां, ठीक आहे. ओके.
Good afternoon, everyone. My question is related to the primary data collected as the farmer knowledge level. You
Yes.
categorize the farmer knowledge. So, which are the basic questions you ask to the farmers to, assess the farmers' knowledge? That is my first question.
Okay.
And second is, what are your 2 strong suggestions to improve the agriculture sustainability in India?
Okay. Thank you. Your first question, I'm asking in my questionnaire, I'm formulating questions on the basis, I take the reference from the NABARD, which is taking the financial, just a second. Financial survey has taken by the NABARD. On that basis, I have to formulate the questionnaire. Along with, I have to reference Tanaji Garge's thesis. The question has asked about the sustainable agriculture practices. So first question I asked them, are you know about the relationship between environment and agriculture? Is there any impact? Then soil testing, and that related many questions where the actual agricultural practices can improve the agriculture productivity and then other factors, or that practices has reduced the agriculture productivity and related factors. So this question has formulated in that way, and then option has given yes, they are understanding about that, and on that basis I have to select it. Then second is the two important suggestion which will increase the agriculture productivity. So first is that sustainable agriculture. Digvijay, can you repeat the question?
What are from your basis of the study, what are the two major suggestions you will give to improve the agriculture sustainability in India? As you said, there is a lesser agriculture sustainability. Your conclusion is about lesser agriculture sustainability.
Yes.
What you will suggest that two major suggestions to improve the agriculture sustainability in India?
Okay. Agriculture sustainability, as I say, socioeconomic and environmental perspective. So if we want to find trace out socioeconomic and environmental aspects, so economic aspect people are taken into consideration, but the social and environmental aspect. So my suggestion is that when the farmers create awareness among the farmers to social and environmental aspect, along with we having a make a condition as a Israel. If you are farmer, then you should have to fulfill some understanding about the agriculture practices. So this is my strong view. Along with, I suggest that the government should take into interest, because Ambedkar says that agriculture is a state business, and if you individually operate that one, so this will make more complications for the individual, because in our India, cream go to the technology, and rest of the people have been going with the agriculture. So this is a knowledge gap, is a main component, which is if you fulfill the knowledge gap, then the farmers, and we are attracting the youth in agriculture, then we can easily reach with the sustainable agriculture practices in India, as per my knowledge. Digvijay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Anybody would like to ask the question? I think fine. The relevant question which was posed by Digvijay Patil. Even Digvijay Patil is also studying about the assessment of agricultural sustainability, but in different context.
Yes, sir.
We'll have some discussion for a few minutes, because Deepak Chavan has done a lot of work. I think I have gone through his thesis, and quickly I come across that a lot of secondary data as well as the primary data, so many tables and graphs which are there within the thesis. I think this is a very hard work he has done under the supervision of Professor P.S. Kamble. He is a senior faculty in the Department of Economics, and particularly specializing more in the public economics as well as the environmental economics. Agricultural development and sustainability, this topic goes in agricultural economics as well as the environmental economics. Both are too closely related. But talking about agricultural sustainability is a very big topic. If you see about the UNDP's policy since 1990 onwards, then we have the Millennium Development Goal. Now we have entered into the Sustainable Development Goal. There are 17 goals which you have to fulfill by 2030. That is the UN agenda for SDG. And within that, agriculture sustainability has also become one of the part of that. In that context, I think one of the justification this particular thesis which will give to the UN SDG agenda of 2030. But going into more deeper, those who are the researchers who have joined this particular platform, what I recommend to them is that to define the sustainability under what context, we should have to have certain variables. That variables may, for example, the environmental variables or environmental indicators. Other will be the economic efficiency related indicators, and next will be social equity related indicators. So if these are the three parameters, if we include within this particular thesis, then definitely the thesis will increase its own quality also. Subsequently, whenever you go for the publication of this particular thesis, no doubt this work is very hard work, quantitative and qualitatively you have put up your efforts. But if you add the values within that, definitely that will give more weightage to the different aspect of the researchers of the economics, including the agriculture economics also. And if you further go for the calculation of their own index parameters, for example, defining the sustainability index, to what extent the agricultural sustainability which has taken place in the different part of the area which we have covered in our primary work. For example, how much is the sustainability, agricultural sustainability index of Kolhapur, how much is the agricultural sustainability index of Satara, so on and so forth. So I no doubt you have worked very systematically. You have calculated many areas or many variables taken into consideration. But if you go like a, for example, human development index, for example, India's index somewhere range between 0.6, 0.7 like that, but is to that extent agricultural sector index that will even add up the value subsequently. So those who are the learners of economics who have joined this particular platform, for them only I am discussing here. It is only for those who are doing their own research subsequently. And this particular thesis, which has been evaluated by the three different experts, one is already in our board, that is of Professor Anil Chougule, who is the head of the department at Sydenham College at Mumbai. Other one is of Professor Dr. H. Varandi, who is from the Karnataka University. He has been assessed this particular thesis. And third referee is your own supervisor, Mr. P.S. Kamble sir. He has also given his own remark. All these three examiners has given the remark positively. Three examiners have assessed your thesis. They have evaluated your thesis. The reports has been submitted to the university. And taking the merit of this particular evaluation of these three different examiners, the university has come across for the conducting of this particular Viva vote today. And that's why we all are gathered for the conducting of this open defense Viva vote. Some of the examiners have also posed some of the questions related to this particular thesis, but I don't think that these are the very important, because one of the expert which is here, we will ask him to refer some of the questions if you want to ask them. But taking this into account, I think you have done excellently. Your work was qualitatively good. You can go for the publication along with your own supervisor presently, and you can go continuously do the work related to these things. With this, now may I request the Professor Anil Chougule to put your own views related to today's Open Defense Viva.
Thank you, Deshmukh sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, you are audible. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So, respected chairman of today's PhD Open Defense, Professor Mahadev Deshmukh sir, research guide, respected Prakash Kamble sir, distinguished faculty of the Economics Department of the Sydenham College, and all my dear participants. At the outset, I am thankful to Shivaji University Kolhapur for inviting me as an external referee for this Open Defense. It is my privilege to accept the invitation of Shivaji University, as I was the student of Shivaji University Kolhapur. First of all, I appreciate efforts of Mr. Deepak Chavan and his prolific research guide, respected Dr. P.S. Kamble sir, for taking very hard effort to study the issue of sustainable agriculture development in India. And personally, I believe that this work is really value addition in the field of agriculture economics. The thesis is divided into 7 chapters. Let me briefly present the overview of the thesis. I have assessed his thesis. His thesis is divided into 7 chapters. Chapter number 1 is what introduction and research design. In this chapter, researcher has taken a brief review of research design, including research methodology, objectives, hypothesis of the study. Researcher has given the conceptual framework, but researcher could have tested sample adequacy by using the statistical test. It will be more appropriate. Coming to the second chapter, that is what review of literature. The researcher has undertaken review of about 51 books, PhD thesis, and research articles related to research topic. Research gap is mentioned with proper justification. But most of references, what I found, that is what most of references are in the Indian context, and limited scope for given for the foreign authors. That is what the things that I observe under this model. Chapter number 2. Under chapter number 3, theoretical perspectives and sustainable agriculture development. In this chapter, researcher has presented various aspects of the sustainable agriculture development in precise manner. Researcher has aptly presented the difference and similarity between sustainable agriculture and organic farming. Chapter number 4, sustainable agriculture development in India, its result and discussion. Researcher has presented economic, environmental, and social indicators of the sustainable agriculture. Researcher has studied relationship between size of holding and social status in society. Also, the use of chemical fertilizer, agricultural productivity, government spending, and sustainable development, etc. Such issues are properly discussed with the help of the statistical tools. Coming on the chapter number 5, sustainable agriculture development in India, an empirical analysis. In this chapter, researcher has aptly presented the demographic profile of the respondents in the study area researcher has considered the economic factors related to sustainable development. But what I feel that researcher has ignored the measurement of eco-efficiency in the agriculture sector, which is important part of the environmental economics. That is what you can say, eco-efficiency in the agriculture sector. Coming on the chapter number 6, that is what challenges realizing sustainable, which is related to agriculture development in India. In this chapter, researcher has taken systematic insight on the economic, social, and environmental challenges before sustainable agriculture development in India. Chapter number 7 is of the major findings and important suggestions, where researcher has given major findings into 2 categories. That is what the secondary data, based on the secondary data and based on the primary data. By considering economic, social, and environmental variables, researcher has presented the major findings of the study. I think around 24 recommendations has given by the researcher to attain the sustainable agriculture development in India. And I think that is what it will be very useful for the policy making point of view. Bibliography and references are following the methods or the given format. Looking toward the merit side, what personally I believe that the selection of topic is satisfactory and it will be definitely useful for the policy making point of view. Then there is a good balance between research title, objectives, and hypotheses. The scientific research methodology is adopted. Organization of the thesis is up to the mark. Minimum typo errors are also there. But when I look toward the demerits of the thesis, I found that 3 things that researchers should consider. Number 1, that is what the assessment of eco-efficiency in the agriculture sector, which is an important part of the environmental economics, which is completely ignored by the researcher. Second one, that is what the trade-off between, you can say, sustainable development and agriculture goal should be addressed by the researcher. And third limitation, I personally feel that researcher has not mentioned the protocol to be adopted by the farmers for organic farming, or he has not mentioned the protocol to be adopted for the farmers for organic farming, nor has mentioned about the certification of the same. I think these are the merit. Otherwise, this is very excellent work. That is what Mr. Chavan has done under the guidance of Professor Prakash Kamble sir. Here, I want, in my mind, only 2-3 questions are there that I want to ask you. Number 1, that is what, in case of, you can say, sample adequacy. I know that is what your sample size is very huge. And but how do you tested the adequacy of the sample? This is what my question number 1. Second question is what, I don't know why you not attached a questionnaire with your thesis. It should be there so that I can understood what question you asked and what is the reply and what is the result. Questionnaire is not attached. I think I don't know why this researcher. I don't know what the rules and regulation of the Shivaji University also. Then second question: how do you test it, the reliability of the questionnaire or consistency of the questionnaire? Because this is wonderful work, P.S. Kamble sir. This is under your leadership, under your guideship. This is what excellent and qualitative thesis I have referred. But these are the some questions also. One more question is there. In case of a particular study area, when we are talking about sugarcane is cultivated where water is used judiciously, then how we can achieve the sustainable development or sustainable agriculture development, and how in this situation, how do we calculate the eco-efficiency? Also, how do we maintain the balance between sustainability and optimality? This is very my basic question, or the fundamental question, or that comes under the fundamental environment. That is what, is sustainability negatively related to the Pareto's optimality trade? Or how do we maintain the trade-off between the production level and environmental goals? So these are my simple questions to this researcher. That is what, number 1, how do you tested the adequacy of the sample? I know sample size is very big, but looking toward the size of farmers, we should check that. Also, that is what, how do you tested the reliability of the questionnaire? Third one, why you not attached the questionnaire? This is one. Then that is another one in Sangli, Kolhapur, Satara, where water is using very rigorously. And in this situation, how do we maintain the sustainability? Because I am also belongs to that area. I know that how the farmers in that particular area, that they are using the water. And last question, that is what in case of the Pareto's optimality, then how do we maintain the trade-off between the production level and environmental goals? Otherwise, my overall impression is the topic selected for the study is good. Scientific research methods are adopted for the study. Observations are made, which is based on the tables and the analysis of chapters in the earlier chapters. It is complete. The research work is completed with appropriate research questions and research tools. Researcher has taken adequate efforts, and really I'm happy to this work. That is what this type of qualitative work is in Shivaji University, and the credit goes to respected Prakash Kamble sir. Entire work is satisfactory. I congratulate to Mr. Deepak Chavan sir, and I thanks to Shivaji University Kolhapur for inviting me as an external referee also. So with these things, thanks a lot.
Thank you, Anil, Dr. Anil Chougule. I think he has put a lot more effort. Deepak, do you want to respond to some of the questions?
Yes, sir, definitely.
Yeah.
So first
Quickly.
question is adequacy sample size. So M&A formula has been used to adequacy.
No, this is selection of the sample, but we have to test that adequacy of the sample. Is it sufficient or not sufficient?
So
The size of sample is very huge.
Yes, sir.
1000 is very big sample.
No, sir.
Yeah, Deepak, please.
Otherwise, next question is there. No, don't worry, because work is excellent work.
I think there is issue of network, Mahadev, it seems. He's.
Hello, sir.
Go ahead, Deepak.
Please,
Okay,
please.
Okay, sir. First question is adequacy. So, minimum sample size can be found through the total population we have in related to primary data, and the reliability test is actually is not been applied. So for that, I'm sorry. And the questionnaire is not joined with the thesis because actually the questionnaire means I don't actually I don't know is the joining or not joined with this thesis. Then reliability test, sir, the numbers of sampling. So we are going with the minimum sample M&A formula, and then the random sampling method, which is we use an excessive sample. Yes, I know that more than 1000 sample we are respondent have been selected, but for the research methods, the random sampling method has used. So on that basis, the excessive sample, I think, minimize the errors. So on that basis, we have to select it. Then the study area, as sugarcane has consuming a lot of water, it is a very big problem nowadays, and water scarcity after the Tamil Nadu we have seen in the after the western Maharashtra. But technology and technological improvement, as Israel we seen technological improvement maybe give more path in that way for the sustainable development. Otherwise, government should have to make some proper arrangement through the law and with the social awareness among the farmers. And the last one is a Pareto optimality. So sustainability and optimality always dichotomy. So as per the phase of the world towards the rapid development and then constant development and the more development. So what is the requirement of the economy? So on that way, the use of resources by the economy and chosen the optimality or sustainability in both contexts. So this is my explanation, sir, as per your question.
Yeah, Deepak, thank you very much. I think Dr. Anil Chavan has rightly pointed out, he has rigorously gone through the thesis which you have been prepared, he has evaluated. He has pointed out some of the things. For example, he has said the economic efficiency of agriculture, that is a very important aspect that you can include subsequently because that will increase the quality of your own thesis. And some of the questions what he has identified is he is testing you what you have done the primary work, how exactly has gone. He has agreed that your sample size is more than 1000, that is more than sufficient. But how do you have selected? What is the method you have adopted? These are the various tools, mechanism, techniques. Do you know it? That is one of the exercise you must be doing it in this particular exercise. And I think there are the various reports of the next exam, that's from the Karnataka University. Varandi has also submitted the report. Dr. Anil Chogule has evaluated his project today for the Open Defense Viva. His report is also there. Your own supervisor's report is also there. You can subsequently go through your own thesis, grammatical errors if they are there. If you want to include anything within that, as per the recommendation of the two different referees, your guide would also suggest something to you. You can modify it and go for the publication of your thesis subsequently. With this, I think your thesis has a lot of merit and positive work which has been included within this. And with this, I, as a committee member and the chairman of this particular committee, will recommend to the Shivaji University Kolhapur to award you the PhD degree in economics. And with this, I request now Professor P.S. Kamble sir to propose the vote of thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. I take this opportunity to propose vote of thanks. I am a disciplined researcher, therefore, as the part of protocol, I should not refer what discussion take place and what referees and my colleague chairman also talked about. It's part of protocol. When experts speak, I should not speak on those areas. Just I want to propose vote of thanks my very close colleague Professor Mahadev Deshmukh. Very systematically, scientifically has carried out today's Open Defense Viva. He very actively participated, and the manner in which he conducted Viva is really praiseworthy. I am very much thankful on behalf of the university, on behalf of my own, on behalf of my Department of Economics and candidate as well. My thanks goes to Anil Chaugule, who is alumni, and from the very beginning he is also meritorious. I must say, he is very sincere, honest, rigorous so far as the research which he has carried out, and more importantly, he also assessed theses very sincerely, rigorously. One of the theses he had sent for revision. I also know in the last month only that Viva took place, and I was chairman, and again he was external referee for that Viva. Anil, you might be remembering. I'm very much thankful, Anil. You are very sincere, rigorous, honest from the very beginning, from the your student life to as a teacher and as a researcher as well. Thank you very much. I must thank all participants. I must refer to Digvijay is there, Ajay is there, all others are there. Number of participants are there. Some participated, but the participation was very active and live. I must congratulate Deepak really from the very beginning. In introduction also I mentioned that he is very sincere, rigorous, honest from graduate level to postgraduate level, and was more sincere, honest, rigorous for his researcher or doctoral work. Thank you one and all. I congratulate Deepak. I must thank once again Professor Mahadev. I must thank again Anil and all participants. I am thankful to university authorities for providing me opportunity to work as an internal referee for this Viva. Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir, Pro Vice Chancellor Sir, Registrar and all others who are part and parcel of this activity. Thank you one and all, and with the kind permission of Chairman Professor Mahadev, I declare today's Viva